Okay guys, let's talk about something we all love. Chocolate. It's that yummy, melt-in-your-mouth treat that just makes everything a little bit better, right? Whether it's a simple bar after a long day or a fancy dessert for a special occasion. Chocolate is pure comfort. You can find it everywhere in so many shapes and sizes. But have you ever stopped and wondered where it actually comes from? It doesn't just appear on the shelf. There's a whole amazing story behind every single piece. It's a real factory-to-flavor journey, way cooler than you might think. Our story begins far, far away from any factory in a warm, sunny place near the Earth's equator. This is where the magic starts, on small farms where cocoa trees grow. These trees are a little picky. They need just the right amount of rain-shade heat. On their branches, they grow these amazing, football-shaped pods. They can be green, yellow, red, purple. Inside each pod, nestled in a sweet white pulp, are about 30 to 50 seeds. These seeds are cocoa beans, the heart and soul of chocolate. It's not a job for big machines, it's done by hand. Farmers use long poles with knives on the end to snip pods from high branches without hurting the tree. Then they gather the pods and use a heavy knife or machete to crack them open. Out come the wet, sticky beans. They don't smell or taste like chocolate yet, a little bitter and fruity. The real flavor transformation is about to begin. Next, fermentation. Farmers scoop beans and pulp into big wooden boxes, or pile them on banana leaves. They cover the piles and let them sit for about a week. Tiny natural yeasts and bacteria in the air start to feast on the sugary pulp. This creates heat. The pile warms on its own. That heat and activity start developing deep, chocolatey flavors. The beans slowly change from pale to rich brown. Farmers spread beans in a single thin layer on large mats or wooden tables under the hot sun. They rake them regularly so each bean dries evenly. This can take another week or so. Drying stops fermentation and prevents mold, so beans can be stored and shipped without spoiling. Once perfectly dry, they're packed into big burlap sacks ready for a long journey to chocolate factories all over the world. A trip that crosses oceans, involves cool science and a little bit of magic. Once those big sacks of dried cocoa beans arrive at the factory, the real fun begins. The first thing that happens is a good, thorough cleaning. These beans have traveled a long way from the farm: twigs, leaves, tiny stones. The factory uses special machines with screens and vacuums to sift through the beans. You want to start with a super clean ingredient, because any little impurity could affect the final taste of the chocolate. Safety and cleanliness are a huge deal in a food factory. Now for my favorite part, roasting. This is where the factory starts to smell absolutely incredible. The clean beans are poured into huge rotating drums called roasters. The person running the roaster is like a chef. They decide temperature and time. A light roast might keep fruity flavors. A dark roast brings deep, nutty, classic chocolatey notes. After roasting to perfection, the beans are quickly cooled down to stop the cooking process. Now they are brittle and their shells are loose. The next stop is a machine called a cracker, or a nibber. Its job is simple. It cracks the roasted beans into smaller pieces and breaks the outer husk, revealing the cocoa nib. With a clever step called winnowing, light husks are blown away while the heavier nibs fall clean and ready. What you're left with is a pile of pure cocoa nibs, the true essence of the chocolate that's about to be made. Okay, so we have our beautiful clean pile of roasted cocoa nibs. They smell amazing and have a nice crunch, but they're still a solid ingredient. The next step is to turn them into a liquid, grinding. These machines have huge, heavy rollers, grinding stones. They crush and mash the nibs over and over again. Friction creates heat. That heat melts the natural fat inside the nibs, cocoa butter. As grinding continues, tiny solid bits get smaller and smaller and become suspended in melted cocoa butter. This aromatic paste is called chocolate liquor or cocoa mass. No alcohol. It's just the historical name. It's intensely flavored and bitter. 100% pure, ground-up cocoa. Texture matters. Grind fine enough so your tongue can't feel the particles. From here, makers can go different directions. For cocoa powder, press the liquor to squeeze out most of the pale, yellowish cocoa butter. Left behind is a cocoa cake, which is ground into powder. For chocolate bars, use the whole liquor and start adding other ingredients. Now that we have our chocolate liquor, it's time to build flavor and texture. To make dark chocolate, mix the chocolate liquor with sugar, maybe a little extra cocoa butter. For milk chocolate, add sugar, extra cocoa butter, and milk powder. And for white chocolate, no cocoa mass at all. Cocoa butter, sugar, milk powder. All these ingredients are mixed into a thick, pasty mass. The mixture now goes into a very special machine called a conching. Think of it as a giant, slow-moving mixer and kneader with rollers and paddles that scrape, stir, and agitate for hours or days. Heat keeps the chocolate fluid while constant motion coats every sugar and milk particle in cocoa butter, creating an ultra-smooth, velvety texture. It also mellows harsh, acidic, bitter notes, like a stew simmering to deepen and blend flavors. After all that mixing and conching, we have a pool of beautifully smooth liquid chocolate. It's called tempering. This step is about controlling temperature to get the cocoa butter to behave just right. Cocoa butter has different crystal types. You want only the stable crystals to form. Untempered chocolate can be dull, soft, crumbly, with white streaks or spots, and it melts on your fingers. Properly tempered chocolate is glossy and gives a wonderful, clean snap. It melts smoothly and evenly in your mouth, not in your hand. The machine heats, cools, then gently warms back to the precise working temperature. Once in temper, warm chocolate flows to the depositor. Rows of nozzles squirt exact portions into molds on a conveyor. Molds can be classic bars or playful shapes. Some factories add almonds or raisins before pouring. Vibration helps chocolate reach every corner and shakes out tiny air bubbles for a dense, flawless bar. The molds travel into a long cooling tunnel, like a refrigerated hallway. Temperature must be steady. Technicians watch the controls. Too fast cooling can crack bars. Too slow can lose that beautiful shine or temper. As bars cool, cocoa butter shrinks just a little, helping release from molds. Molds flip and shiny bars pop onto a clean belt. So satisfying. Next stop, wrapping. First a thin foil layer to keep freshness. Then a paper label is wrapped tightly. Or a plastic sleeve, depending on the brand. Machines fold, tuck, and seal with precision. Thousands per hour in big plants. Wrapped bars are boxed and stacked on pallets, ready to go. From cleaning the beans to wrapping the bars, safety and quality are top priorities. Hairnets, gloves, clean uniforms. Machines are constantly cleaned and sanitized. Quality control checks weight, appearance, and of course, taste. Every single bar must meet the brand standards before it leaves the factory. When you imagine a chocolate factory, you might picture huge, noisy machines doing all the work. That's definitely part of the story. Giant motors hum, turning heavy rollers. Conveyors carry beans, nibs, and finished bars, while pumps move rivers of liquid chocolate through heated pipes. It's an impressive sight, a symphony of industrial power. Everything is designed to be efficient, consistent, and incredibly clean. But it's not just about the machines. The factory is full of skilled people working hand in hand with technology, like the roaster operator using smell and sight to hit the perfect roast. Lab technicians test at every stage, checking texture and flavor. Digital controls give precision, but the human operator makes the final call. They might taste a spoonful of liquor or feel the conked chocolate between their fingers. Someone develops recipes, someone chooses beans, and someone gives the final taste approval. It's a team effort, human senses and mechanical power, all to deliver that perfect piece of chocolate to you. And so, after all that farming, fermenting, roasting, grinding, conching, molding, we've finally arrived at the best part. We have a finished chocolate bar, shiny and perfect, right here in our hands. Tear open the wrapper and really look at it. Notice its glossy sheen, the sign of a good temper. Break off a piece. Hear that sharp, clean snap? The sound of well-formed cocoa butter crystals. Deep roasted notes, fruity notes, floral notes. Place the piece on your tongue. Don't chew. Let it slowly melt. Feel the smooth, velvety texture as cocoa butter dissolves. From humble bean to a smile. Now take a bite and enjoy. You've earned it.